Hey, y'all. Hold on. Okay. Yes, Sunday. Hello. How's everybody been? All 200 of you that, have subscribed to me. But, I don't know. Forgive me. I mowed the grass. Now I'm questioning, my perceptions of, because usually if I have to crawl under the house where there's bugs and stuff, I'm putting a t-shirt over my head. Why the fuck didn't I do this time? Yeah, and I haven't taken my shower yet. So, I haven't got to be to work till 6. It is Sunday afternoon. I have been, I got grass in my hair. Lots of it. I have a zero turn and the wind, whatever was going on out there this morning. It's dry. Yay. Yeah, it's kind of one of those times where I wish I had mowed the grass wet, because we wouldn't be putting up with this shit. I've got one long fucking grain of grass right there in the front. And I'm sorry if it distracts you, but we're going to go do our shower here in a little bit. Anyway, but yeah, I just figured I'd check it. What's the bag look like? I know I wish, oh, there's one. Yeah, good times. Anyway, but yeah, the grass is mowed. I'm accomplished. Yes. Let's see. I washed my dishes that had accumulated over the last 4 days. This morning, I got a load of wash in the dryer. One that is in the washer now. The one in the dryer is done. It's over here in the basket. I went grocery shopping. I mowed the grass. I did my taxes. I Googled around. What the hell is going on with you? Googled around and was pricing, like, I have this crawl space entry that when I bought the house, it had a crappy door. It didn't even have a door. I gotta do that. So I was kind of going around pricing how much it was going to cost and trying to get measurements and stuff like that. And I think on the one side, I have 9, put 8 in the cart. So I need to order 9 of these little awning type of window things for all of those little vents. Yeah, because we are going to make this house so airtight next winter that I'm not going to need all these space heaters running. And I have to look up probably baseboard heaters too, because I went to Lowe's where I had bought my baseboard heaters and they did not have any anymore. And someone had mentioned to me a couple years ago, said, yeah, they're going to discontinue these. And I was like, well, that sucks. So I guess I'm going to have to order them online. No biggie. So, called Mama. I ordered some stuff from Open Road Girl. Let her know that the package is coming. She goes, I haven't seen anything yet. I said, well, they contacted me directly, and I told her the story about that, and that was kind of cool. So, we got that going on. I did a survey. They got the Million Veteran Program. They took blood and whatnot, and then they sent me this survey thing to answer a shit ton of questions. I've got one filled out, but I made some mistakes in there. So I may have to go through and do it again. Now that I need to make the mistakes. I actually know. Yeah. I have a rough draft in the envelope. And I have a second one in case I screw up the first one. So, that. What else? Oh! My grocery store. Finally got my grapefruit juice. Finally. Like after a year. Seriously. Yeah. And I don't know why they got it on the fucking top shelf. It makes no sense. Anyway. What else? I have been busy. I have been busy today. And I do not have to be into work till 6. Next week is going to be a rainy week. Yeah, and if you're looking at that Parmesan cheese container, it's empty and it's clean. And it's waiting for something to go in it, like screws. Yeah, this is how let me show you. Well, it has screws in it. It just hasn't gotten the label taken off of it. But yeah, this is what I do. Move my chair here. Make myself comfy. Oh, you are just pissing me the fuck off. Hang on. Jesus. Anyway, yeah, these are 1-inch drywalls. Comment, whatever. And these are, if I'm not mistaken, these are 2.5. 2.5 and 3s. So what I typically do before I start making homes for shit is I pull these labels off, and then I get my address labels out of the desk drawer in the office, out of my desk, and I make labels so I know what's in them. And they fit better in the cupboard like that. That way, if I just need one, and come, you know, yeah. Not to mention, if I change my mind and I want to get rid of the clear part, I can save the lid part. These tops fit perfectly on small mouth mason jars. I have a short. Shows you. Yeah. Totally shocked. So anyway. Yeah, because this thing here. Yeah, those are 2.5s. This fit in the pouch of a work belt. This do not. Well, anyway, let me load this up while I'm sitting here. Because, yeah. Anyway, well, I took measurements. My crawl space was 32 inches by 32 inches. Seems like everything in this house is either on a 48 scale or 32 scale. So, we're gonna, yeah, my window up there in the bathroom, 32 by 32. So, and so, yeah, I had some lunch, some carrots, guacamole. That's beer too, but I sat there on the phone drinking the first one like 40 minutes with my mama, so this one's only not even half gone. But I need to, I want to get these clothes in the dryer, and then I need to take the bike up and go get fuel somewhere. I'll probably go down to the little Circle K, because I want to go to the liquor store and get my gin, because now I have my grapefruit juice. But yeah, I've been presumably in a fantabulous mood here lately. This can go back out into the pie closet. This can go over on the thingy. I am out of 2 inches, so I gotta go buy those. It's tucked in my bag. Hang on. Okay, there we go. Alright, let's gab. Anyway, we had Mental Healness is talking about a movie that just came out, and it's got Marissa Tomei in it. And he's talking about it, and he's, you know, kind of from his perspective of being a diagnosed narcissist, he's looking at the situation from a narcissist perspective to this mother, right? And basically she's a psychologist, and she is trying to educate, you know, whoever is, you know, entertained by it, population, you know, their player, you know, womanizer, man-eater type of person, you're not dealing with just, someone who's horny and hypersexual. You're dealing with a narcissist. So while I was on the phone with my mother, she was talking to me about a cousin of mine. And I'm not familiar with this cousin. I do not know a whole lot about him. I know he's named after my father. And he'd been with a woman for fucking 12 years. Yep. And she had up and left him for the man who she was with, and that man had ended up going to prison. And she waited for this guy to get out. And as soon as he got out, she married him in within a month. I mean, it was like, you went 12 years faking a relationship. Oh, the karma that you are going to experience from this, right? Unbelievable. I was just like, she did what? And my mom was like, yeah. 12 years. He was with her for 12 years. And she left him within a week after the guy that she had been with got out of prison. I was like, that's fucked up. That's so fucked up. I was like, yeah, I would have been broke too. She goes, he was just devastated, besides himself. I was like, oh yeah, I can fucking relate. Give me my number. We can talk, get acquainted, because I don't even know this relative. Really. She's my aunt is 93 tomorrow. And her son, I would say, is probably my sister's age, in her 60s. Shit, I'm 54. I'll be 54 in a couple months. Whatever. So, I mean, it's just like, damn. That sucks. I can't fake a casual, friendly hello to somebody I don't like at work. How do people walk through life? How do they go through life, knowing that they've faked a whole fucking relationship? How do people do that? How? How do you fake that? Stay alone. Much to most people's surprise, yes, I've gotten questioned, I've gotten asked, I've gotten pursued, even on casual, hey, can I take you to dinner? No, you cannot. Do you want to meet up and go to dinner? I'll pay my own way? Yeah, we can do that. That's how you say things. It's how I read into it. It's how I interpret your intention. I have been technically, aside from one little sympathy predator trying to use me when he was, fucking up. Yeah, he learned real quick. I don't tolerate that crap. And then the next little guy, he's just like a people pleasing. I need somewhere to live, so I'm going to play the game, and I'm going to try to move in one pair of underwear at a time. No, he ain't going to fucking do that either. One guy, his math wasn't mathing. He was telling me stuff, and I was doing math in my head. And I'm like, nope. Something wrong with this one too. Not to mention he's living in a hotel and goes and gets a puppy. Not a puppy of a Yorkie, or a little fucking chihuahua you can stick in your back pocket kind of dog. No, he gets a fucking Malamute. Those dogs are nuts. It's like, what was it? It was like a German Shepherd Chow Malamute mix. You just adopted the dark triad of all dogs. Fuck that. And you ain't bringing that crazy monster here. No, don't get me wrong. I love dogs. He's probably a cool fucking dog. He'd probably come up to me and like lick the shit out of my face. I love dogs. But when they're puppies, the first 2 years are fucking hell. Just putting it out there. They need sedatives because they're psycho. Just saying. Moving on. Yeah, I had a bull mastiff. Yeah, they say, oh, they're so docile. The fuck they are. This thing was trying to prune a tree by chewing on a hanging branch. You jump up, grab it, and yank on it for a fucking hour. I think I got a video of it somewhere. Or pictures. Something. Anyway, he was huge. He was 155 pounds before he was even 2 years old. Yeah. I mean, he was chill. He was pretty cool. Come home, put his muzzle right here, and hold it there. Like, I love you, Mommy, now that you're home. Don't move, because this is what I got to do for 3 minutes of your entire existence. Yeah, that's what I get. Big ass dog with a head this big. Right there. Missed that motherfucker because he was cool. He's smart. Oh, he was smart. Anyway, smartest dog I've ever had. He was 12 weeks when I picked him up. I hadn't had him a week. I taught him how to ring the doorbell every time he needed to go outside to go to the bathroom. Smart fucking dog. Did not like it when he had accidents in his cage. He stayed this far. He would whimper. Get it out of here. He didn't want it. He was stuck in one position in his cage until you cleaned it up because he had an accident because we had him in a cage too long. Yeah. It happens. You know. We had to go do something. We were gone for like 11 hours. I come back. Actually, we weren't even gone that long. We were probably going 6. We come back and he had an accident in his cage. And yeah. Drama queen. Oh, yes, it was. You try getting a 125-pound dog to calm down until you get his shit cleaned up out of the cage. Yeah, it was masterful. Yeah. I was like, how are we going to do this? I was like, I'm going to have to take the cage apart. They need to make them so that you can lift the tops off. Yeah. Fuck that tray pulling out shit. Just lift the top off, clean up the mess, get the dog out of there, put the top back on. Yeah, that fucking genius. You know what? I didn't think of it. Someone's going to make money off my idea. Fuck it. You know, it's kind of like the hanging dryer concept. Me and my sister made that up a year and a half, 2 years later. LG come out with that one. We're like, did somebody bug your kitchen? That night we were getting drunk, talking, you know, I need a dryer that where you can just hang the shit up and it dries on the hanger. I was thinking about something as a spin-off of something that I have on my mixer. What I would like is an app connected to a TPMS system, valve stem covers for cars, because the inner component on cars and motorcycles has a tendency to delay. I want to be able to open my app and my little TPMS system on my bike tell me what my pressure is before I leave. I don't want to have to be rolling in order for the fucking thing to kick on. My masterful fucking ideas. Now, apparently, they got one out there. I haven't found it yet. I want an app for my bike. Not so much the one that's on the bike. I have one on the bike. It tells me my pressure while I'm rolling. It's on my dash. I can see it. It's on my fairing screen. I want one when I wake up and I want to take my bike in the morning. I want to know whether or not I need to get ready 45 minutes early and then pull that bitch up to the house and start rolling the fucking thing backward and get the air compressor on to air the fucker up. Yes, I have a portable air pressure thingy. Yes, I keep it charged. But if I have a rigid, no maintenance sitting in my friggin' doorway here, easier. It's got a stem on it that long. Air chuck. Anyway, basic Sunday gab. Got lots done today. Got groceries done. Got my meal prep done. I've got tortillas. I got my chicken. I got my sour cream. I got my guacamole. I've got my spaghetti sauce, my tomato paste, my pepperonis, my chickens, my rotisserie chickens, my chicken wings, my pierogies, my chips, my salsas, my cheese, my pineapples, my grapefruits, my steaks, my fajita beef. Yeah, I was doing ribeyes for a while, and I have like 5 or 6 of them in the freezer. They're frozen. A couple of them are aged. A couple of them aren't. I know how to age steaks. It's a lot of work, and I gotta clean the fridge to do it. Don't feel like cleaning the fridge. Anyway. Last week was a bear. But last weekend was decent. It wasn't too bad. Friday I was done early. I had to call my dispatcher. I was like, "What's up?" And the rain, they all canceled because of the rain, and I don't think the rain's coming. I said, "I think it's coming. I just don't think it's coming in the severity that everybody was anticipating." He's like, "I think you're right." I'm like, "If you need me to hang around, I can." He's like, "Nope, just do what you got to do. Wash on your truck. Do what you got to do. Go ahead, and when you're done, clock out." I will see you in the morning. He never told me what time. Well, then the next morning, I'm talking to my buddy. That we call, at my plant, there's only 3 of us. We call each other the misfits. Why do you refer to yourself as a misfit? I said, "I know why me and dude are." I said, "What did you do?" He just laughed. He's like, "Oh, I got a list." And I was like, "Well, there's a time there that I didn't want to be on jobs with you." He's like, "Yeah, I'm aware." Anyway, so he told me that one of the HR guy had called him. So, "What time do you think we should come in? You need to come in." He's like, 6. Just have us come in at 6. 6 is like the golden number. That's when everybody wants to start working. It's like 6:30, that kind of thing. On the job at 7 or on the job at 6:30. Anytime before 6 is usually like an early morning type of thing. And I got to get up at like 2 or 3 in the morning if I can get to work. 1 o'clock in the morning. My alarms, I have an alarm set. God, let me tell you, I've got an alarm set for every fucking hour. I'll tell you what ones I got. Just so you're tracking. This is fucking mental. But yeah, I was watching Mental Healness talk about that movie with Marissa Tomei. And I was laughing because, he's got a good point. It sounds like she's kind of like the paranoid mom. And once you understand the narcissist or have experienced one of these type of personality disorders, you can't shut it off. You see it everywhere, even if it's in small increments. Like, there are, believe it or not, there are narcissists. They are not evil. They are just self-absorbed or communal, where they get their rocks off by doing good by people. My mom's one of those. But they get really upset when they don't get their, their attention and their fill at home. So their work or their outside charities and whatnot is what gives them their supply. And at home, they are either non-existent or they're really like puny. Like, oh, you don't need me. Why am I even here? That kind of shit. I'm telling you, I've dealt with it all. I can give you fucking examples of everything all day long, every day. I am not a psychologist. I am not a therapist. I know what I've experienced in my life to be able to give forthright examples of how fucked up these people are in the head. Now, my stepdad is kind of in a bad way. He's very ill. He's failing. He's got high blood pressure. He's got AFib or DFib or one of the two. He has congestive heart. They said, oh, he's got stage 3 kidney failure. Well, what gave him that? Because he went from no kidney failure to stage 3 kidney failure, and there was no fucking acceleration to the fact. Where'd it come from? Where did stage 1 and 2 come from? Where'd they go? We just jumped? We jumped the fucking line? I mean, he's only been in here every month for a fucking year. You couldn't have said something. Eye roll. Fucking doctor had him on a statin. Didn't even check his fucking numbers before putting him on one. The guy's cholesterol, his LDL is fucking 35. He had a 35. And they had him on a statin. I even asked my mom, I was like, is that necessary? He's on so many fucking blood thinners, his shit's almost translucent. So I wonder he can even, process or even metabolize fucking electrolytes. She goes, what do you mean? I said, his shit is so diluted and thin that it's a wonder he can even process electrolyte. I said, you got potassium, magnesium, and sodium. And they all have to work intercollectively with each other in conjunction with vitamin D, K2, CoQ10, and every other fucking thing that, micronutrient out there. They've got to work collectively. And if his blood is so thin, how the fuck is he carrying any of these nutrients to his body in order to eliminate issue? He doesn't have kidney failure. He has kidney, fatigue. The shit is, it doesn't need to do anything because his blood's so thin, it's already fucking filtered. His kidneys aren't failing. They've basically yep, everything else in the body's doing all the work. I just gotta sit back and this blood thinner and all this other crap that they had him on. Yeah, kidney, they didn't fail. They just took a nap because they weren't needed. And then when they were needed, they didn't know how to wake the fuck up. Now he's on Lasix. Anyway, my alarm clock. Jesus. I got a midnight 30, a 1 o'clock, a 1:30, a 2, a 2:15, a 2:30, a 3:30, a 4, a 5, a 6, a 7, a 12:20, a 1400. These are the fucking times that I have. Now, you got to think, when these are employed, I have to be to work 2 hours from that point. That's how my life works, right? Well, that 12:20 in the afternoon, That's probably for like, or 1400. That's probably for like family dinners, holiday meetups. But now I got a 1900, a 1930, a 1945, a 2015, a 2030, a 21, a 2130, 2145, a 2150, a 2215, 2230, 2300, and 2330. They're already in the system. Oh, he tells me a time, I'm minus 2.5 hours, and that's the one I hit. And then I hit the one that's 30 minutes prior to it. Yeah. I haven't had to employ that 1931 in so long. It's like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That one, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's like, what the fuck? We were doing Saturday nights. Off on Monday. Yeah, just wild. My job is wild. So, any case, it's been a great day. I've had a great week. And me drinking my beers right now is not because I'm trying to suppress any kind of anxiety. I feel celebratory. I got my grass mowed. I got my taxes done. I got my groceries done. I got my kitchen cleaned up, at least the dishes done. I've got laundry in the works. I got clean clothes. Fuck the folding. I don't care. I really don't. It ain't nothing that I can't take a shirt and a wet washcloth, throw it in the dryer for fucking 10 minutes, and I got ironed. That is my focus on things. Now, I thought about, and I might still. This is 2, it's now 3 o'clock. Yeah, 1:30 is when I think I opened the first one, only because I was poking around reading something. I can't fucking, and I was listening to Lee Hammock talk about that movie, You're Dating a Narcissist. I can talk about narcissism and borderline personality disorder and dissociative identity and, all sorts of different cluster B arrangements all day long, every day. And I don't talk about them from the clinical perspective. I talk about them from my own personal experiences having dealt with these people. I mean, I was friends with a girl when I was in the Army. She was young. She was, her dad was a captain. He was a pilot. She was best friends with a general's daughter. Me and my roommate used to hang out with these two at the club. And this girl, she was in love every other week. Borderline-y. Clingy, borderline-y. And as I look back on my own personal experiences, people that I've known, her hypersexuality and her, and I saw a movie, and he's like, kind of like interject here, Fathers and Daughters, and it had Russell Crowe in it. That, I mean, it is so, it's flashbacky, so it's kind of like, okay, where are we? Right? But that is a perfect example of abandonment issues. And not borderline, but hypersexual abandonment issues. She was talking to her therapist, and her therapist had asked, so why do you have these relations with these men? And she's like, to feel something. Anything. Her life and her existence, her life was so difficult on her, and losing both of her parents at such a young age. Her hypersexuality was a means of being able to feel something. Whether it be pleasure, pain, shame, anything. She had become so detached from her own emotional standing that she was acting out in the only way that she knew how to experience some emotion other than numbness all around. Like zero joy. She just, none. And it hit home. I mean, I sat there just like, I fucking get this girl. I get her. So, going back to the friend. Her dad was a pilot in the military. She was never fucking home. She needed that relationship with him, and there was no way for her to get it. So, her hypersexuality or her clinging, as soon as she got with somebody and she had fun with them, she was madly in love with this person and obsessed with them for whatever, until they, had to shake her off with a stick. And it was because what she really needed was an active role model of a father to show her that the only person that is important to her until she meets the one who really fulfills her heart is her daddy. But he was so absent that she didn't have that at all. Fathers are important. Yes, they are. Now, was mine there the way I needed him to? No, he fucking was not. No, he was not. Do I love my dad? Hell yeah, I love my dad. There's a lot of things about my dad that I did love. But there's a lot of things about my dad that I wish he had done better. Do I look back on all of this? My dad's been passed away for, God, I can't even tell you how many years. He died right before 9/11. And it was not something like cancer or anything like that. It happened spontaneously. So there was no working up to it. It's not like my stepdad right now. The guy's 82 years old. He's actually improved since the last time I was at the hospital. But you know what? It's only downhill from here. And it's kind of like preparation. You get to prepare your heart for the loss. It's inevitable. You know it's going to happen eventually. When it does, you've already reached that level of acceptance. So you're not, shell-shocked from the emotional, turmoil. My father created emotional fucking turmoil. He was barely 61, 62. 1938, 2001. Do the math. And he, that loss, I was not prepared. I was 29 years old. I was not prepared for that at all. And to look back on my childhood and my raising, with my parents, there are some things, I remember conversations with him. I remember the way my parents had treated me to my sister, you know, and there was a favoritism there. Where they favored her and not me, you know, and I was kind of like pushed aside and put into a closet and kept silent, and I was a ghost child, you know. As long as I kept quiet, I didn't get in trouble. Out of sight, out of mind. It's kind of like that same, it is the idiosyncrasy, the concept, like, we had a guy who had the most immaculate fucking truck, right? It was clean as fuck all the time. I was like, of course it's clean, because he ain't ever here to make it fucking dirty. You kind of got to use it in order to show that you've actually done something with it. Of course it's clean. Because he's never fucking here. And when he is here, it's on the days that nobody else is here, and all he does is sit there and scrub on it all day. Think about it. Well, my childhood raising was pretty much the same thing. If I stayed out of everybody's hair, I didn't get yelled at and I didn't get in trouble. But I didn't get anything either. No. I had to ask for stuff. Hey, I need new clothes. Now, I've grown out of my shit. And this stuff is like early on. Like, before I was old enough to fucking buy my own shit, right? Or have jobs. And, you know, the only thing for a girl to do in, you know, that day and age was babysit. I hated fucking kids back then. I couldn't stand them. I couldn't stand babysitting. I hated it. And my mom would call friends of hers, oh, my daughter can do it. And my mom, and I'd be like, did I say that I wanted to? Well, you need to earn some money. I said, $6 is not going to get me anywhere. It's like a pack of french fries and a fucking slushie. I mean, what is it going to get me? Nothing. Waste my fucking time. They pay like shit. And it's not my thing. It's not my thing. There was only like one lady I would babysit for. One. Because she would pay me enough so that I could actually buy something like a pair of pants or clothes or something. One. And she was the poorest lady in town. Yeah. I went to school with her son. He would not babysit his sister. Yep. I would hang out with his sister all night long. His sister was so cute. I loved her. She was adorable. She was great. A great kid. You know, and I didn't mind babysitting for that lady at all. But, you know, the point is that when your parents, you know, they want control over you, but they don't know when to put the control into place. It's like this girl from that movie. You know, I guess she's out at school, she gets proposed to, whatever, mom wants to come in and fucking be in control. But at the same time, mom is kind of neurotic. Mom's also an expert. You know, she's the expert in this field. She's seeing this man's nuances and his mannerisms as red flags. But at the same time, like, you know, Lee says, at the same time, she's being a fucking monster-in-law. She's being overprotective of her daughter. She's not letting her daughter learn from experience. She's not sitting back in the shadows and watching and being like, do you think this might be something? She doesn't have that rational, intellectual concept of being able to show her daughter the red flags. She's just going in there like stalker mom. Fucking trying to prove her point because no one's listening to her. And the reason why they're not listening to her is because she's not giving a rational representation of what it is they need to be looking for. You know, she's being a typical overreactive, you know, emotionally responsive, you know, mommy, you know, kind of thing. So with a psychological degree, you know, which is funny because here she knows this personality, she can see it everywhere, right? And here her daughter, and she wants to protect her daughter, but at the same time she's not doing anybody any good, including herself, because she's so irrational, you know, about the situation that nobody's listening to her anymore. It's like, she just needs to back off and be like, okay, go ahead. See for yourself. You know, I'm here if you need me, but don't tell me I didn't warn you. You know, that kind of thing. Everybody in this world has narcissistic attributes. They are defense mechanisms. They are things that we have acquired, you know, over evolutionary, you know, aspects of psychology and social interactions and whatnot. We've been able to simplify the thoughts and put them in a perspective to where people, you know, we got this type of like gaslighting and, you know, breadcrumbing and love bombing and just being completely obnoxious. Like Lee had, you know, there was a short earlier, he's like, did I see what I thought I saw? This dude abused his girl right on a live stream. And then they tried to gaslight the fucking world, saying, no, it wasn't what it was. The fuck it wasn't. The girl got a big fucking thingy on her face. Come on. Sit there and try to gaslight the world. There she is with this big red blotch on her fucking head, where he smacked the shit out of her for saying something to him. Those of us who can see the red flags, we know the red flags, we have experienced the red flags, and we try to warn others of the red flags. It doesn't have to be a new supply. It doesn't have to be your ex's new supply. It could be anybody that you see get involved with somebody that has red flags. You try to fucking convince them that they are, you are dancing with the devil, sweetheart, and they don't listen. That, God, what is it called? It's called the Cassandra effect. You know what you're seeing. You know, and you try to convince the person that you feel is going to be harmed by this type of shit, and they fucking dismiss you. Frustrates the fuck out of you. Yes. Yes, it does. That's what that movie's about. Yeah, she's a little neurotic, and yeah, she's probably a monster-in-law. But that's the point. It doesn't have to be your narcissistic's, you know, new supply. It could be anybody you're friends with, and you meet this individual, and you're like, hey, we need to talk later. I give a perfect example. My sister. She goes 30 years divorced. She gets on a dating app. She meets this guy. He's not a bad looking guy. I gotta get, he was a good looking dude. And she tells me about him, and I'm like, he's a freeloader. She said, what? I said, he's a freeloader. I said, he's got a history, and he's got shit fucked up, and he's not telling you everything. He's a freeloader. Well, he's got a job. I said, does he have establishment? She says, what do you mean? I said, does he have his own apartment? Well, no, he just moved here. I said, okay, alibi for injury. Does he have his own fucking car? Well, no, he has to take the bus here. I said, well, why doesn't he have a car? Why doesn't he have a bicycle? Why doesn't he have a motorcycle? Anything form of transportation that is within his budget. Why does he not have anything? And she dismissed me. And she had dated this man for about 4 months. And then he lost his job. And then he asked to move in with her. And she was like, no, we're done. I warned her. But my sister is very much an intellectual. When I warned her, I put her on her toes. She is not going to dismiss this. But, given her emotional state at that time, she was lonely. She wanted someone in her life. He liked her. She liked him. It was okay. It got her back out, being social, getting her out, doing things, having fun. And when all of the little flags started to line up, she started to think about our conversation. And when he lost his job, and he wasn't able to afford the bus to come up to see her, because they lived in different towns, about an hour away, she said, I guess you're not going to come this weekend. And it fell off. She was not going to take up for him. That's his responsibility. He wants to come and see her. He can come. He'll have to come up with his own money. She's not going to drive down there and leave her house, her comforts, her luxury lifestyle to go hang out with him in his efficiency hotel room. Yes, Big Sister warned her. But she went into it understanding that Big Sister has been there, done that. And I am seeing through some of the little bit, you know, they might be purple flags. You know, they're not red, you know, or brown flags. You know, they're not red, they're not green. They're just precautionary. Yeah, don't get invested. And that's what I told her. Don't get invested. She says, what are you seeing that I'm not? I said, and I can't explain it to you. I haven't got the time or the crayons to fucking draw it out for you. I'm just telling you. You have fun with it while you want to. But don't get invested. Lo and behold, I was right. These are the reasons why I stay single. For my own, on my own disposition. This is not, you know, I'm not out here coaching people. Oh, when you see these signs, it's love. When you see this sign, it's a red flag. No. You know, I talk to people. I understand it. Issue at work. Friend, you know, used to be a friend till she was like, Mike hijacked her. Yeah, I'd be doing karaoke and she'd come up and hijack the mic. I was like, get the fuck off of me. You know, did anybody invite you to sing with me? No, sit the fuck down. You crazy kook. Anyway, I realized that she was histrionic. And, but there's a few other things. There's, you know, things that remarked attention that nobody else see. I saw it. Because it was directed at me. But in everybody else's perspective, nothing, because I didn't make a stink. I just kind of like, whatever, and walked away from it. We had an issue at work. This girl instigated. I called her out. When I got with management, one of the guys in management. And I said to him, I was like, you might want to put a bug in her ear. He's like, why is that? I said, getting that fucker to show his true colors, that was fucking work. And I did her ass a favor. And he just sat back in his chair and he was like, no shit. I said, I fished her ass out like a professional. He goes, how'd you do that? I said, she did not fucking want anything to do with that guy until that guy and me, him, and another guy from work all went to the fucking bar and took a picture and I posted it on Facebook. She was still friends with me on Facebook. She didn't look at him even sideways until I had a circle of friends with him in it. I said, and then she came in for the competition. I wasn't competing for nothing. I was proving a fucking point. To that manager, other managers, and that fucking guy. Yep. I was proven right. And I told him, I said, if she wants him so bad, let her go get him. I said, but I consider what I had proved, because of the way he responded to everything, I did her a favor. If I tell somebody to go fucking kick rocks, that doesn't mean she needs to come in and fucking try to get them. That means she needs to steer as fucking far away from them as she can possibly get, because they ain't no good. And dude was like, now I see. I said, she did that with the ex. We had one fallout. She came barreling in. One of the guys we work with actually thought he had left me for her. That's how bad she was. I said, no, somebody else. And 6 months after that, I was like, yeah, he fumbled her too. Genius. My stories don't change. My experiences don't change. I can tell you all sorts of different shit that my exes or prior relationships or even prior work relationships, not, intimate, just personalities. I can give you examples all motherfucking day long. Military people. People I worked with while I was in the military. Yeah. It's fucking wild. I can give examples of my own family, my own siblings, the way they treated me. Yeah. A lot of it's heartbreaking. It's just like, wow. How did you live through it all? After a while, I mean, it's heartbreaking, if you let it succumb to your emotions and you start to think, God, I did not deserve this. You start to get that melancholy kick in. I went through about 3 months of crying at one point while I've been employed at this job. And it finally, it kicked in after I met one individual. One. And he doesn't even work with us anymore. And he said, the reason why you are so guarded is because nobody in your life, whether it be your family, siblings, cousins, friends, your network, anything. Nobody has ever made you feel safe. You have always had to stand up and go to bat and fight for yourself. No man has ever come into your life and made you feel safe. No one in your family has ever stood up for you in a way that has ever made you feel safe. I've only had it happen one time. Once. That's a story for another day. When you're dealing with a cluster B element, and it is broad spectrum, it's a milkshake, because all the characteristics overlap. It is so braided. You start to realize the reason why you're a magnet is not so much that you're desperate, it's because they see that you have experienced it before. But if they throw a different element at you, it challenges you to learn it. I am sadly convinced that I will never, ever have another relationship of any intimate response, accord whatsoever. I will never have a long-term committed relationship again in my life. I will grow old by myself. I am tired of the fuck-ass fuckery. And this is where I am. Now, I'll try to continue to do videos to inspire others to see through the bullshit. But as far as my personal perspective, I'm pretty much healed. I'm chilling. It's Sunday. I don't have to be to work till 6. I should have gone out on a bike today, but it's a tad too chilly. I would have had to bundle up like Nick of the North. I didn't want to do that. But all in all, where I stand from where I was 3 years ago, oh God, I am in a much better place. Is my house still a wreck? Fuck yes. Hell yeah. It's only me. And, you know, when the people that volunteer to help you, their only intention is to come in and help you enough to get down your pants, you start to see through the bullshit. You're like, bye Felicia. I can do this someday when I fucking feel like it. And that's the attitude everybody needs to have. You know what? It's going to happen when it's going to happen. And it's going to happen when I fucking feel like it. Peace out, y'all. Thanks for watching.